Hello, Celebrate Recovery family. It is so awesome to greet you here on this first Monday of 2021. It's January 4th, and we are excited to be together. A little bummed that we are still doing it by video, but that's okay. God's grace is covering us. We hope to have a few more weeks in this way, and prayerfully believing that in a few weeks we can be back in our building and in person and just rolling along like we always have. So let's pray for that together. We thank you so much for joining us. This is going to be lesson 1, starting off right at the beginning of the calendar year and our Celebrate Recovery year. So I'm a grateful believer in Jesus Christ who has struggled with codependency and severe hurts and unhealthy habits, and God has touched all of those places and brought me recovery, and I am continuing to work on that. And tonight, my husband Jim is going to do our celebration time and share his heart with us before we get into the lesson.
Good evening. Good to see you again, although I can't see you. I'm very much a hugger, and I miss that the most in this time that we're in is physical contact. But know that we're praying for you, and as Jackie said, this is the first lesson, and this is the first week of a new year, a year that I think most of us want to put behind us, at least parts of us, but I hope we've all seen growth in it. And if you're familiar with Celebrate Recovery, you know it's based on these chips for encouragement. It's based on Jesus Christ.
Yes.
But these chips are used for encouragement. And being a new year, it just seems like a good time to sit down with the Lord and no one else. I've said this hundreds of times. For this to be successful, I believe that you need to ask Jesus what's going on. What's causing your hurts, habits, and hang-ups. Not your in-laws, not your spouses, not your therapist, not the people at work. So I would encourage you now and into the next week that you prayerfully consider taking one of these chips. The blue chip is the initial chip that says, okay, I've recognized what I need to work on. And there's a group of people here that will work with you in whatever way we can to help you. We will not enable you, but we will pray for you and help you in any way we can. So if there's something that God tells you tonight or through this next week, contact us or comment now and we will get you the chip. We've been able to get chips to people out through this time, and we ask that you comment on what chip you're due if you've been working through something. And we'll get that chip to you as well. And I just feel very encouraged in this new year that we've made it through this past year together, that God's going to open doors not only to our personal, but to His plan for this world. And thanks. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Jim. All right, now if you'd give me a few more minutes, we will work through our lesson 1, which is entitled Denial. And I want you to prayerfully be considering what it is God is talking to you about. So we have 8 principles and 12 steps that are the basis for Celebrate Recovery. And this is based on the national program, and we are grateful for the grace of the program that allows us to share in this very difficult season when we've been working through sticking together through the coronavirus, and we have done it, and we are excited that we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and we will be back together soon in person. But until then, be sure you keep catching us on our Celebrate Recovery channel here, and we have a YouTube channel now that you can catch these lessons and encouragements and updates on what we're doing. So this is based on principle 1, realize I'm not God. I admit that I am powerless to control my tendency to do the wrong thing and that my life is unmanageable. Happy are those who know they are spiritually poor. Matthew 5:3. That might sound a little familiar, doesn't it? And then the step that this lesson is based on is we admitted we were powerless over our addictions and compulsive behaviors, that our lives had become unmanageable. Romans 7:18 speaks to that. I know that nothing good lives in me, that is in my sinful nature. For I have the desire to do what is good, but I cannot carry it out. This is about breaking free of our bondages. All that we do together each week when we meet on Monday nights is about breaking free and walking in the freedom that Christ has come and died for us to have. We do have past failures. We do have disappointments. We have had hurts, habits, and hang-ups, each one of us. But it's time that we stop letting them trip us up. When we look at Hebrews 12:1, which is one of my most favorite verses and is so encouraging, it says, since we have a huge crowd of men of faith watching us from the grandstands, men and women of faith, that is, let us strip off anything that slows us down or holds us back, and especially those sins that wrap themselves so tightly around our feet and trip us up. And let us run with patience the particular race that God has set before us. The encouragement in that is there are people cheering us on from the grandstands, people that have gone before us, literally, physically, that have passed on, people that have gone before us in particular situations that we are dealing with, and they have broken free and found freedom, and they are encouraging us. That's what we do as a collective group here at Celebrate Recovery. We encourage each other in a variety of ways, through prayer, through doing the steps together, sponsoring, being accountability partners, showing up every Monday night, and just listening to each other's hearts and talking through those things. First, God specifically has a particular race, a unique plan for each one of us. It is a plan for good, not a life full of dependencies and addictions and obsessions. Those are absolutely things of Satan, and each one of us had fallen into them. Myself and my husband Jim have a testimony that is full of those things and full of victory in Christ as well. So we need to be willing to get rid of the unnecessary baggage, the past failures in our lives, the things that keep us stuck. Literally picture your suitcases, your baggage, your bags. I'm a bag woman because literally I have a bag for everything I do. I have a bag for Monday nights that I keep packed, ready for Celebrate Recovery things. I have a bag with my computer and a variety of other things I'm involved in. I keep that packed in there. I have a bag for when I go to watch my grandchildren. You know, these bags all have meaning to me, and they all have things in them, and they're good, useful things. But sometimes I really have to think, man, this is heavy, and it's too much to carry, and maybe actually I have too many bags, and I could consolidate, I could clean out. Let me find some victory in getting rid of some of these and to lighten the load a little bit. Think of the baggage that we have packed in our lives over the years of all the bad decisions, the sinful things, when we've stepped out of the will of God and out of His plan. Those things have all found their ways in our baggage, and now we are just burdened and just weighted down with all this baggage, and we just can't even see our way clear of how we could get from point A to point B with this baggage. Well, tonight we are going to unload that baggage. We are going to just dump those bags, and we're going to ask Jesus to fill them with His plan and His way and the victory that we know we can have. For many of us, our past hurts, habits, and hang-ups keep holding us back and tripping us up. We're stuck in bitterness over what someone has done to us. We continue to hold on to hurt. We refuse to give the ones who hurt us forgiveness. That is one of the biggest things that keeps us held back. You may have been hurt deeply. I know I have, in a variety of situations by people that I never dreamed would have hurt me in such a way. Perhaps you were abused as a child. Maybe you were in a bad marriage, abusive marriage, a marriage where there was adultery and just all kinds of hurts. God gives us willingness to forgive. It's willingness. God gives that to us, but it's a process in which we can gain freedom. Some of you are bound by guilt of hurting others. You have been the one that hurt, and now that guilt and shame is just keeping you bound. You think that no one anywhere is as bad as you are, that no one could love the real you, that no one could ever forgive you for the terrible things that you have done. You are very wrong. God can, and he does, and he will, when you simply ask him. That is the reason that Jesus went to the cross, to receive our sins, that his blood would cover us, that when God looks at us and we say, forgive us, God, we have sinned, he sees the blood of Christ. He no longer sees our sin. That is the hope. That is a wonderful hope to have here at the beginning of the year, and to hear again. If you've heard it a million times, it never gets old to hear that Jesus Christ forgives us. The Apostle Paul, who is one of the followers of Jesus and one of the major authors of the New Testament in the Bible, he had a past that seemed like it was unforgivable. He even participated in murders of Christians. He sought them out to actually kill them. In Philippians 3:13, he tells us, no, dear brothers, I am still not all I should be, but I am bringing all my energies to bear on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead. Please note that verse, Philippians 3:13. We can forget the past and we can look ahead to what God has for us. But we have to deal with these things. We have to get them up and out. We have to identify them. So the bottom line from the hurts, habits, and hang-ups, the guilt, the grudges, the grief, the shame, we need to release it. It is something that we do in faith, that we release it, and we know that God is going to forgive us and that we are going to have a path to move forward. Again, it's just like this path with all this brush, and there's our baggage. We can't see our way clear. But when we say, here we are, God, we're done with this. We want forgiveness. We are willing to forgive. We don't know how we're going to do it. I don't know how I was going to do it in some of the serious hurts that I have endured over the last couple years. But when I just had that willingness and I brought it before the Lord, I could start seeing this path open up through the baggage, through all the minutia. And I just committed to start walking that path. That's what we're doing today in this denial lesson. We're committing our willingness to walk the path that God is opening up before us. Fear of the future can freeze us up too. The Lord is my helper, and I am not afraid of anything that mere men can do for me. Hebrews 13:6. So let's be aware that fear can stop us in our tracks sometimes too. Even though we want that freedom in our future, sometimes we get comfortable where we're at, even though it's not a good place. It's what we know. We can feel like we might lose our identity, lose control over what we've gained. What if recovery doesn't work? What if I commit to this process of coming to Celebrate Recovery and working through these steps and principles and it doesn't work? That's a real fear. But I can tell you that it does work, so you don't need to be fearful of that. Who will I be at the other end of this recovery process? That can be a little unnerving, because even though we don't like maybe where we're at and who we are at the moment, there can be fear in who am I going to become? Again, let us walk that journey with you and trust the Lord and know that, again, he has what is perfect for you, and it will be a person that you like and will be comfortable with. What if the person I'm enabling gets mad at me? What if the people around us don't accept us when we work through our recovery and we become this new person in Christ? That's a very real fear, and we can work through these things together. Always afraid of reopening the pain, and somehow we have this feeling of, I deserve this. I deserve this miserable life because of the things I've done. Well, while we might deserve it, Christ said, I love you enough that I will take that from you, and you don't have to go through what you may or may not deserve. He went through it for us. So as we work the principles and steps, remember 1 John 4:18, where God's love is, there is no fear, because God's perfect love drives out fear. Another awesome, powerful verse to start our lesson 1 with, and to start the beginning of the year in our new journey together. So you are not here by mistake tonight. You are not watching this video or a part of this Celebrate Recovery by mistake. God knew that we would be journeying together, and we are so excited to do that with you. So now we're going to talk about the actual mask of denial. Isn't that funny? Masks. Masks have been something that have become a part of our life. It's very controversial. I know some people don't want to wear masks, don't believe in wear masks. Some people do wear masks. Whatever your take is, the mask of denial must come off. I am actually a mask wearer, and I feel that's important to keep us safe, but I am no longer willing to wear the mask of denial. You wonder if you belong here, actually, at Celebrate Recovery. It took a lot of courage to take that first step and come through the door. If your hurt, habit, or hang up is really that bad, sometimes we think, oh, I don't have that serious of an issue. And sometimes we think that this program process is just for those that have addictions to drug and alcohol. And we find that that is just not so. We all have something that we have dealt with in life. And there is no judge of how bad it is or if it's bad enough to come. If it's something holding you stuck in your life, if it's something keeping you from being with Christ fully, then it needs to be addressed. There is denial. It is one of the enemy's powerful weapons. Denial rears its head at any time, and you may find yourself trading one addiction for a new one. We have to be very careful. So denial is defined as a false system of beliefs that are not based on reality and self-protecting behavior that keeps us from honestly facing the truth. Denial, a false system of beliefs, self-protecting. It's a natural thing, and it's something in our humanness that we really have to fight against. Denial is hand in hand shame and guilt. Shame and guilt, things that I have dealt with absolutely in my very sinful life. And when you find freedom from that, it is amazing. It is amazing. So do any of these comments that I'm just going to share with you sound familiar? It'll give you a sense of what it's like to be in denial if you're still not understanding that. Can we stop talking about it? Talking only makes it worse. If you say a comment or thought like that, you're in denial. What if we don't talk about it, it will just go away? Now, is that true? We know that's not true. That's denial. Let's pretend that that didn't really happen. You know, just pushing something out and just be like, yeah, that didn't really happen, when in actuality it did. Again, that's denial. You know, if you're dealing with an addiction, you know, if someone is confronting you about that or the lawyer is confronting you, here would be thoughts or comments you might make. I don't really drink that much. Or so-and-so drinks more or does more drugs than I do. It really doesn't hurt anyone else when I do this. It just hurts me. It only affects me. These are all comments of denial. I eat because I'm so mad. Eating is something I deal with. I'm eating because I don't care. I just want to the point of hurting me and becoming a problem. Just all these comments are things that keep us believing lies. That's all denial. As I said earlier, before we can take the first step of our recovery, we must first face and admit our denial. God says in Jeremiah 6:14, you can't heal a wound by saying it's not there. Isn't that an amazing thought? I often get wounds, cuts, burns in the kitchen. I'm terrible in the kitchen. And I just actually got a really bad one. It just started healing up this week when I was baking Christmas cookies a couple weeks ago. It was really painful and bad. And I had to address it. I had to put ointment on it. I had to take care of it. I couldn't just say, oh, it wasn't there. I mean, I kept feeling the hurt. I kept feeling the pain, so I had to address it. So an acrostic for denial is what we will work through the rest of our few moments here together. And I will briefly say what the acrostic is, and then we'll go back over it. And please make sure you take notes, because when you join us at 7 o'clock tonight in our Zoom calls, you all are welcome to join us in our men and women's groups to discuss this lesson and to talk through and pray through and think about how this has affected you and what it's bringing up in your life you need to deal with. This is what we'll be talking about. D disables our feelings. E is energy lost. N negates growth. I, it isolates us from God. A alienates us from our relationships. And L lengthens the pain. So that's the acrostic for this evening. So the denial D stands for disables our feelings. So when we're in denial, we totally are shutting our feelings off. We're not letting them count. We're not letting them surface. And those are just digging deeper and deeper into our soul and making more and more problems. So we have to really think about our feelings and let them not run our life, not let emotions run our life, but let them be red flags that there are things there we need to deal with. 2 Peter 2:19 says, they promise them freedom while they themselves are slaves of destructive habits. For a man is a slave of anything that has conquered him. So if your feelings and emotions are conquering you and you're not addressing them and knowing that that is something you need to work through, that is a problem. The next letter is E, energy lost. I can relate to this. When I'm in denial about something, and even though, the truth is in there, we're just not letting it out. We're not letting it come to the surface or deal with it. I just get so tired. It's wearisome. It drags on me. And if you have this loss of energy and you just think, what is wrong with me? Take a little inventory of yourself, your emotions. What is happening? What is going on that is dragging you down? Energy lost. Psalm 146:7. He frees the prisoners. He lifts the burdens from those bent down beneath their loads. That is the Lord. He frees the prisoners when we come clean and stop denying. N negates growth. We can't have growth. We are only as sick as our secrets. And we say that a lot here at Celebrate Recovery. We're only as sick as our secrets. When we have secrets, God knows everything, but those secrets, they are like a cancer, again, that just goes through our body and it makes us sick. And we're not going to be able to get healthy or be on the road to recovery if we can't grow. So keeping things inside and denying stops any growth that we can have. I isolates us from God. And that's what I said earlier. If there's anything that is keeping you separated from God, guilt, shame, that's all Satan. That is all lies from Satan. But when we believe it, and even if you say, I know better than that, if there's just a wee little bit in you that grabbed a hold of that lie from Satan, he will just keep pounding you with that and keep you isolated from God. And tonight of all nights, I want us to come close to God. Let God come near you and stop this denial. Let him show you what you need to work on. Be honest. It's okay. This is a very confidential place with anonymity. We do not share who is part of our group. It is a safe place for you to come and be involved. We keep our online and Zoom groups as safe as we do our in-person groups. So please don't be fearful. Our denial not only isolates us from God, it alienates us from other relationships. And that is true. I have had such a hard time through working through a lot of things to continue to keep a close intimacy with my husband, even if the situation didn't involve him. But when I have all these things going on in me, I can't be intimate with God or my husband or even the family around me. It just keeps you in this box, in this cocoon, so to speak, and we want to break out of that. So we don't want to deny our hurts anymore and keep us separated from the people we love. My denial causes more judgmental thoughts and feelings about myself and about others and just keeps me struggling all the time. We don't dare reveal our true selves, is what Satan tells us, but that is a lie. Jesus says, be who I created you to be. We think we have to protect ourselves from the secrets at all cost, and again, that is a lie. Jesus says, I am here to help you work through those things. It's a terrible price we pay when we stay stuck in denial. So what's the answer? Ephesians 4:25. Stop lying to each other, tell the truth, for we are parts of each other, and when we lie to each other, we are hurting ourselves. Remember, it's always better to tell the ugly truth than a beautiful lie. Finally, denial, the last L, lengthens the pain. Oh my. I have stayed in pain for days, weeks, years, months that I didn't need to because I was struggling and dealing and denying with myself and not letting God in. I want more than that for you. I want something better for you. Don't let your pain continue to go on. So as we wrap up this evening's lesson, We're going to walk out of denial. We are going to truly take off the mask of denial, our figurative mask, not our literal mask. And we are going to shout, yes, I am free. But Satan is going to be shouting, don't do it. It's not safe, but it is safe. It's safe at Celebrate Recovery. It is safe in the arms of Jesus. So step out of your denial so you can step into what Jesus has, unconditional love for you. And you can begin your healing journey here. So please continue to stay connected with us. As I said, we are going to continue online just for a couple weeks, and we will be back in our location at Word of Grace Fellowship at 603 South 5th Street in Indiana, Pennsylvania. Do not wait till then to reach out for help. You can reach me at Jackie Greene, E on the end of Greene, 01 at Gmail. You can message me on Facebook, and we will get materials to you, and we will get you started in this process and help you in any way we can. So make sure you jump on the link for tonight and join our Zoom group, and we would be glad to talk further there with you as well. God bless you, and thank you for listening.